When we look at artworks with human subjects, there is more than meets the eye. This artwork by Picasso might look like a plain, boring painting of a girl eating from a bowl. And we might ask, what's the point? This is what happens when we merely glance at an artwork, make a quick judgment, and move on to the next artwork. The bane of social media culture has affected the way we see and appreciate art. What can we do to reverse this? Here are 5 things to look for when we see human subjects in art. These steps will help us slow down the way we see art and gain a deeper understanding and appreciation for them. The pose is key in giving us the story and the action of the scene. He is giving out dishes or pouring liquid into a mug. But to really slow down the way we look at artworks, what I'd like to invite you to do is to describe the pose. Zoom in to the different body parts and describe the way they are positioned. For example, the limbs. His left arm is bent, his left hand grabbing the handle of the mug. His right arm and torso are wrapped tightly around the large jug, suggesting its large size. Look closely, and you can also see his left leg diagonally angled towards the jug, suggesting that he is using his left thigh to support the jug as he pours its liquid into the mug. The positions of his limbs suggest a few things. 1. The jug is large and heavy, so it needs to be supported in many ways to pour out its content. 2. The person is skillful enough to maneuver both the large heavy jug and the mug by merely using his body. His quaint smile shows that this laborious task is easy for him. He could have been hired to do this job. He is the bartender of the olden days. As you can see, a slow and deliberate study of the pose can reveal the identity of the human subject. Artists pay a lot of attention to the pose because it can tell stories, it can bring out emotions, it makes the scene more realistic, and it adds to the aesthetics of the entire scene. A pose is a big shape in the myriad of shapes. Here, the repeated vertical shapes create a sense of unity amongst the chaos. Here are other parts of the body that you can look at. Torso. Is he sitting up straight or slouching? Is he standing upright or leaning against the wall? Hands. Where are the hands placed? What gestures are they making? Legs. Is one leg in front of the other or next to each other? Is the body weight resting on just one leg or both? Does it imply stillness or a sense of anticipation to move forward? Interactions. How is one human's pose interacting with the other? Are they touching each other, or is there a significant distance between them? These are some of the many things that you can look out for when analyzing the pose of a human subject. Now, let us observe how the gestures are complemented by another important characteristic, the gaze. Some say that our eyes are a window to our souls, so the eye never lies. He might respond with "I'm okay," but his eyes clearly tells us that he is not. There is even a social intelligence test developed by the Autism Research Center at the University of Cambridge, where you are tasked to look at one's eyes and decipher how the person is feeling. It is clear that observing the subject's eyes in a painting can help us unveil more about his or her emotions and psyche. Here are 2 things that you can look at. Intensity. Are the eyelids drooping or are they wide open? Are the eyes filled with fear or do they exude a sense of cool and compassion? Direction. Is the person looking to the left or right of the canvas? Is the figure looking into the distance or looking directly at you, the viewer? Artists can also use the gaze's direction to direct our own eyes to another part of the artwork, adding a sense of movement that contributes to the narrative. Once you have described the gaze, follow through with the next obvious characteristic, facial expressions. This is the easiest to decipher, as you look at a combination of the person's eyes, nose, head tilt, facial muscles, and mouth. Our interactions with others inform the way we interpret other people's faces, so our interpretations will differ. One might say that this person is feeling fearful, frightened, or helpless. Another might infer that he is angry, violated, or infuriated. Could it also be a sad person, feeling a huge sense of grief and despair? Possible. That's the fun part about art, where we are allowed to engage with the human subject's emotional state in different ways. Remember to slow down when you are analyzing a person's facial features. Are the lips opened or pressed together? Is the mouth's corners upturned like a smile or downturned like a frown? Are the eyebrows raised or furrowed? Is the head upright or tilted? Each of these characteristics are powerful nonverbal cues. When coupled with the pose and the gaze, we will have an arsenal of clues to help us engage with and appreciate the person's emotional state. What you wear reveals your beliefs. So, the clothing in the artwork can help us analyze the person's status, culture, or even the weather of the scene. This man is adorned with a black velvet coat lined with pompous white fur, covering a pink innerwear which has a satin-like texture. His clothing shows that he is a rich and successful man who lives lavishly, as compared to a more muted, modest brown coat worn by his counterpart. One is a powerful ambassador, while the other is a humble priest. In this artwork, their clothing gives clues to their gender. The men are seen to be half-nude, donning only shorts or a cloth around their waist, revealing their chiseled masculine muscles. The women are more conservative, as seen by their long-sleeved shirts or robes that cover their chests. The women are also donning clothing with floral patterns, a sign of femininity. The distinct clothing in these two artworks show where the people are from. The heavy coats hint at a chilly winter, while the lighter clothing suggests a hot tropical region. Finally, we look at physical characteristics that can reveal more about the figure's identity. Observe the person's skin tones, wrinkles, hair, and facial features, which can hint a person's ethnicity, gender, and age and maturity. Depending on the culture, these physical attributes can give many clues to the person's psyche. When you put these 5 features together, you'd be able to make an informed analysis on what the figure is trying to communicate and how it fits in the artwork's narrative. Let's try to put what we learned into practice by analyzing the artwork that we saw at the start of this video. In this painting, Picasso captures a poignant moment of a young girl standing beside a table, a bowl of food cradled in her hands. Her left arm is bent, her forearm resting delicately on the table's edge, gently propping the bowl toward her. Her right hand angles a spoon as if scraping the last morsel from the bowl, a gesture both meticulous and tender. Her left foot steps slightly forward, suggesting a quiet eagerness to savor her meal. The girl's gaze is fixated on the bowl, completely absorbed in her task. In this focused moment, the outside world fades away, leaving only the simple act of eating. Her closed mouth and concentrated expression evoke a sense of peace and contentment, as if she finds profound joy in this small, personal ritual. Her attire, a thick dress with a cloth wrapped around her neck, echoes the shape of her curly hair, cocooning her from the cold. The muted tones of her light skin and European facial features suggest a chilly season, perhaps winter, adding to the painting's intimate atmosphere. This artwork eloquently speaks to the simple pleasures of life, the joy found in small, everyday moments. The girl's intense focus on her meal underscores our primal need for nourishment and the deep satisfaction that a well-prepared meal brings. This process does seem lengthy and tedious, but honestly, it will leave you more time and space to look, contemplate, and ponder about the artwork. With this method, you will be able to analyze any artwork with a human subject. Slow down and observe these 5 characteristics, and you'll be amazed by what you can find. If you love to learn more about how to read and understand art, remember to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. Happy analyzing!